you're
here.
on live air. You're on TV.
Well, I'm busy.
Welcome to another week of Bailey and Kyle's Scratch Kitchen. We're making bread bowls for chicken noodle soup.
We're not making bread bowls. We're making bread. There's no way we're gonna make it into a bowl. This is dedication. We don't have regular salt, so we are in fact grinding out pink Himalayan.
Kyle and Bailey's Scratch Kitchen, take 78. We've got water, flour, sugar, salt, yeast, Griffin.
I'm already irritated.
Nice. This is going to be a good cooking show.
Yeast. Directions weren't specific.
Honestly, these directions are an enigma.
But they're from, I believe, Aunt Elaine. And we appreciate you if you're watching this.
Thanks, Aunt Elaine. These are directions from great-grandma, my great-grandma.
This is gonna break. Is that 3?
Yeah. She's officially done it, folks. She threw the towel over. She is now the chef. It's so good.
So gross.
I'm sorry, Noni.
Wait. Stop.
Noni's
Just
looking
put some
down
flour
on us,
in
like, pissed.
Put some flour
Noni's
in.
pissed.
Noni didn't give very good directions.
Because she didn't need directions. She made it by hand 7 days a week. Part 2 of Bailey and Kyle's Scratch Kitchen. We're making chicken noodle soup for our bread bowls that we're making. So we've got onions, carrots, celery, Lenny, the chicken, we named him. It's about to take flight today. We've got garlic, salt, bunch of spices, chicken broth, olive oil, and the noodles.
It's actually avocado oil.
Avocado oil. We are transitioning over from olive oil to avocado oil.
Can I start?
Thanks for the correction. Yeah, and we are using this Instant Pot, which is basically a rice maker that we occasionally use for other things. First thoughts? Tasty?
How many noodles?
Yeah, we had a lot of noodles and a lot of chicken actually. Sorry if the dogs are a little distracting. They keep wanting to play around with me. But I'll go through my road bike really quick. This is standard Giant. 2013 I got this, so it's a little bit older of a bike. Haven't told many people this yet, but I did do a medical study to get this bike. So I went and took hopefully a placebo, possibly a drug for like 4 days, and I was lab tested and I got my blood drawn like 40 times in like 28 hours or something. Something really ridiculous. Did a lab test, super broke in college, really wanted a bike because I've been pedaling around on a $100 Craigslist bike forever. So I got this bike, super stoked, loved it. But after a bit of time and after you get more serious in triathlon, you want to get a tri bike instead of just having a road bike. Even though I love it, I definitely love my tri bike more. But more about the road bike. So it's basically stock components on it. Came standard. I've had an aero bars on it for a while, but I just took them off because I commute with this bike. So nothing fancy, all stock stuff. I upgraded to different pedals because it had toe baskets before. I didn't want to clip in anymore. So these are just your standard Shimano, looks like they're Shimano Ultegras. I don't know what those were. So my Shimano clip-ins, and then I also carry a hand pump on it. But other than that, it's pretty much bare bones, just a standard road bike. Alright, now for my pride and joy. This is my tri bike. I could ride this bike all day, every day. It's carbon fiber. back compartment for my extra tires and CO2 canisters. Just recently, I didn't actually have it on for the test, but I just got this Tri-7 water bottle holder off the back, which it also has CO2 canisters, which would be really nice for training rides. I don't know if I'll have 2 on there for races, but for right now I've got it. The ISM PR2 is a saddle. I had to look it up, but their Shimano 105 are my components. So then the front is all profile design. So the aero bars are profile design. The hydration system that I bought separately is profile design. Then I have Garmin pedals. So I have the Vector 3s. I don't have their new ones out. I'm not sure what they call them. I think it's like Rapid something or other. But these are the Vector 3s, so they're the old one. And when you're an amateur triathlete, you have to kind of bum it a little bit. So I actually took these pedals off and used them on my road bike and swapped them really quick because I only have one set of power meters. More things about the bike, I have my Garmin up here, so I used the Garmin 130 for the entire ride, for both rides. Have my bento box, which came with the Quintana, and that's about all, other than the tires are the Head Vanquishers, which were an upgrade to the bike, but this is the PR Disc 4. So they didn't come standard with it, so I upgraded those. And then I just got GP 5000s for the tires, because I kept getting flats, so fingers crossed these ones will work. I've already gotten 2 flats in them, but hopefully no more puncture flats, and no more flats in general. But we'll see. Knock on wood. Alright, so I don't have my usual partner in crime here to film the actual test for me. So I just went out and did it in the morning, and then I rode the road bike at lunch. So Bailey is at Nashville bachelorette party, so I'm sure she's doing a lot of productive things there. So just running through the test on really quick. So we had a 15-mile route, 361 feet of gain, so it's really flat. So that really did favor the tri-bike. Obviously the tri-bike's nicer. It's a 2020 instead of a 2013, so it's gonna do a little bit better. Also, it was a little windy, not too bad, but flat, windy. It's really gonna favor the tri-bike in those conditions. Helmet I went with was the same one. It's just this one I got from Wheel and Sprocket. This is actually Bailey's helmet, but it's safer, so I use it and it fits my head. So thanks, Bailey. Glasses I went with were just the Rokas. Shoes, I have these new Specialized shoes that I just got, and when I flip the pedals, I can just use the same shoes for both. So use these. So those are the same. Rider weight, I hope I didn't fluctuate too much. I don't think I fluctuated too much. The kit that I was wearing, yes, I wore it all day, or at least from the morning when I did the tri-bike, and then I wore it for all my meetings. Thankfully, I didn't have to turn the camera on, and then I wore it for the lunch with the road bike. So paddling, I pedaled at 175 watts, which is 2.3 watts per kilogram for me. About 75 kilograms, 165 pounds. So then jumping into the differences between the bikes, the road bike weighed in at 25.4 for everything that was on it except for me. So that included shoes, helmet, glasses, half a water bottle, the actual bike. For the tri-bike, I have the extra kit in the back, as I mentioned, and then the bento box, the hydration system. So all that's included. I didn't take anything off the weight, just the bike by itself. The 25.3 versus 25.4 with the tri-bike being a little lighter. Tri-bike again being carbon fiber, road bike is aluminum, a little different there. Tri-bike again has race wheels, road bike only has the standard wheels on it. Degree difference was 77 for the road bike at lunch, 75 for the tri-bike in the morning. Not too big of a deal. It actually started raining at the very tail end of the road bike, so again, tri-bike probably had the advantage there. There were about 2 stoplights that I had to go through that I had to hesitate on the road bike, so I did try to push a little bit to get the road bike closer on the climbs. So 1.04 for a variability index. Variability index is just the variations in how much you're putting power to the bike. So if you do like a huge hill climb and then you coast and go down 0, it's going to be fairly high. If you have a perfectly steady ride, you pedal at, you know, whatever, 200 watts the entire time, it'll be 1, so 1.0. So 1.04 is pretty low, and then 1.03 for the tri-bike, which made sense because I was trying my best to get the road bike to be even relatively in the same stratosphere as the tri-bike. So that normalized power, as expected, the road bike was a little bit higher, 182, because there was so much variability in it. Normalized power is just if you had rode at a perfectly steady power for the entire ride, what it would have been at. So 182 for the road bike, 181 for the tri-bike, but not really much of a difference there, especially with both of them ending at average power 175. And then the two big figures I think everybody's going to latch onto. Took 49 minutes and 19 seconds on the road bike and 44 minutes and 35 seconds on the tri-bike. So a difference of 1.9 miles per hour over 15 miles. So extrapolate that out to a full Ironman course, and that's was that like 30 to 35 minutes. So that's a huge difference. If you're just trying to complete the race, road bike completely fine. If you are trying to get competitive, tri-bike is definitely the way to go. Also, one thing I would say in the road bike's defense, the old dusty road bike's defense, is that it really is about rider position. So I was up on the hoods, so that's like the bar tops. So I'm out here riding on it with hands over the brakes, and my thumb is basically like choking the end of the handlebars. So if you get down and you go down into drops or a more aerodynamic position, or you have clip-on aero bars, that is going to help a lot. For the purpose of the test, I wanted to stay in the same position the whole time, so I was on basically bar top, sitting straight up. But that'd be one way that you can gain an aerodynamic advantage. But again, the geometry is different between the bikes. So the tri-bike is going to get you further over the pedals, so you lean forward more, making the aerodynamic position much more comfortable and a lot easier when you get off the bike. So your hip flexors aren't quite so tight. Because the road bike, you'd be sitting straight up, then you're leaned all the way over, so your hip flexors are pinched. So then when you get off, you'll have that feeling of having heavy legs, even more so than on the tri-bike. So running's a little bit more difficult off of a road bike and you clip-in aero bars than a tri-bike with your normal aero bars. So one thing to note there. Final thoughts about it. I would say I love this tri-bike. It's so nice to ride. But I don't hate the road bike. I really don't. Here's a lovely picture of me finishing the 2019 Boulder Ironman, the last full one they had there. On the road bike, Bailey says I look like a kid in a toddler suit, so enjoy that. And then hopefully I'll be able to supplement a few shots of some older footage that I haven't used yet, because I don't have any footage with my partner in crime, Bailey, out there gallivanting the city of Nashville. So hope you enjoyed it. Tri-bike, much faster. Road bike, not so bad. You can finish with it.